let's see. This light is not good. Hello, Facebook family, YouTube family. Give everybody a second. Hey, Mia. Hey, sis. Thanks for joining. Figure out my light a little bit better there. How you doing, Mia? Good to see you. Glad you're here. I'll give everybody a few minutes just to pop on and so we can have us a little chat. Hey, Rashid. Hi, Ty. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for joining. I hope you have had an amazing Monday. You're off to a great week. I sure had what I like to call a fruitful day. Yes, it was a very, very, very fruitful day. A lot of great things have happened today. Quite busy. So I'm so thankful that you have decided to spend just a few minutes with Dr. Shana here this evening. I'm going to give folks just another minute or two to pop on. And so just, I'm on YouTube Live as well. So if you're on either version, y'all can always catch me. Let me know if there's any feedback, because again, I can't hear it and I have both of them going at the same time. Hey, Christine. Hey, sis. Thanks for joining. Well, I am Dr. Shana. I'm here to help you shift from where you are to where you are destined to be. I inspire change, but I teach transformation. And I am here with tonight's Dr. Shana's 12 Days of Christmas. All right. Tonight's lesson is entitled To Forgive or Not to Forgive. All right. Well, I said the other night, every night I'll just tell a little bit more about me because every night there's new people on the line. So here's the short version. I am Dr. Shana. I am a motivational speaker, a licensed professional counselor, a transformation leader, an advocate, a trainer, an author, and all of that adds up to me. I am just a servant. I am here to help you create the lives that you want to create, to move into the space of life that you would like to move into. 2018 is literally only 2 weeks away, not even a whole 2 weeks away. So this is our opportunity to get to end strong so we can start off strong. So that's why we're here with these 12 days of Christmas. I want to get us into the mindset of creating transformations of a lifetime that will move us in the direction that we really want to go. So here we go. Is to forgive or not to forgive. All right. So this topic is one that may not be, hey, Deborah, thanks for joining. That might be a little heavier than most, but it's really valuable and important. In fact, it's one I was having with a couple of different people today. And I said, you know what? I need to put this in our 12 days of Christmas. Now, I realized that all of us have been hurt at some point in our lifetime. We all have. Here's the reality about people. This is what I know, is that we will all hurt one another. Now, there's levels of hurt and pain, and then there's slighting, right? So at the least, we will all slight each other in some way. We may not intend to all the time, but hurt is hurt and pain is pain. What ends up happening, though, is if we let hurt and pain fester, let me tell you how it usually comes out. Like anger. Angry or upset with other people for a variety of different reasons. Much of it might be justified because perhaps someone did you wrong and you have every reason to be angry, every reason to be upset. And we can hold on to what we call grudges. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Grudges. Now, the thing about these grudges, when we walk around with this anger that we hold on to, the person we mad at, how do they even know sometimes are we even mad at them? In a lot of cases, they have no clue. They have gone on with their lives. They may be sleeping real good every night. And we're the ones sitting up, mad about it. And every time we think about them or see them, we just get angry all over again. So when you think about this season that we're in right now, so this is a season of giving and forgiving, it just made me think, this is a great time for us to have this conversation because it's a natural thing that occurs for us to be upset or angry if someone has done us wrong. But what we do with that matters so much more. So my thought is this. When we get into a place where we are unable to forgive, unable or unwilling to forgive, sometimes it's because we think that if I forgive someone for what they've done to me, then it means that I am co-signing or saying that it was okay what happened. Now, let me dispel that. Hey, Kai, thanks for joining. Let me dispel that myth. It does not mean that at all. If someone hurts you and you forgive them, it is in no way you co-signing or saying that it was okay. In fact, the forgiveness is not for the other person at all. It is 100% just for you. Because when we hold on to the anger or the other feelings that are associated with the situation, we end up being the ones with the short stick. Now, let me just share with you a definition of forgiveness that I have come to like. It's not mine, it's borrowed, but I really like it. And I think there's a lot of truth to it. Forgiveness, you've heard that saying, forgive and forget. Yeah, well, I don't believe that. We don't forget anything. If someone did you wrong, you're not going to forget about it. But here's what we can do. We can learn to remember differently. Remember differently, with mercy and not with malice. So, the definition of forgiveness that I subscribe to is never to forget, but it's remembering with mercy and not with malice. What does that look like, Dr. Shana? It means that every time I think about the person who did me wrong, I no longer have that warm feeling that comes from my toes all the way up to my stomach and my face turned red. They're not even in a room, but somebody just called their name and I feel that warmth show up. That means there's still some malice. Malice is the anger. That's the emotion that we typically go to and we show when we've been hurt. And Kai said, just had to do exactly that. It's not easy to forgive someone that took you for granted, but God. That's true. Absolutely. Very, very true. Not easy is not the part of what I said this was. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Because what happens is if you sit inside of that anger, anger turns against you because unless you put it somewhere, unless you dispel it and you send it somewhere else, you are going to be the ones that's going to reap all of the negative consequences of that anger. Now, what happens to us is that when we are unwilling to give forgiveness, we sit inside of all of that negativity and we are unable to be in receipt of any of the great, wonderful things that are actually available to us. I tell you this all the time. When you sit with your hands tight because you're holding on to something, you cannot be receiving anything that's available to you because you're still holding on to something. What I'm encouraging you to consider is this holiday season, who is it that you need to forgive? And it may not have just happened, family. Whatever the issue is, it may have been 20 years ago and you might still be holding on to it. You might still, every time you see them, oh, you get mad. Every time you see them, that warm feeling shows up. You might feel that way. But what I know is at the end of the day, the anger is what we call a secondary emotion. The first emotion is literally just the pain or the hurt. See, no one can hurt you unless they're close enough to you to do that. So you let someone inside of your personal space. You were vulnerable. They hurt you. A natural reaction is you can't do that ever again, which means I may be angry with you, which will always keep you out of my space. So you can't hurt me anymore. I get it. It's absolutely a protective measure. We are animals and we want to survive. So we'll do that. But at the end of the day, it does not move you forward. Instead, it keeps you at a standstill and moves you back. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You know, I like to have a conversation. I don't want to just talk to myself. So if you have any, if this resonates with you at all, please continue to share. I appreciate that. Now, here's the other piece of it. We think about forgiving other people. But here's the thing that we don't always think about. Sometimes we need to forgive. I'll repeat that. Sometimes we need to forgive ourselves. We may hold on to some things that we've done and we will hold it against ourselves for, I can't believe you did that. Now, it may have had a really bad outcome, whatever choice you made. But at the end of the day, we are human. We all can err and make a mistake. We all can say, oh, if I could do that, I would do it over. I would do it differently. Mia said it is difficult with the individuality of your child to get at you. I have to pray really hard for that. Yeah, you're right, Mia. Again, easy is not part of what I said this was. Necessary is what it is. But easy, no ma'am. But it's absolutely necessary. Kai mentioned the but God. Sometimes you have to, not sometimes, I believe all the time, you got to go to a source that's outside of you, that's greater than you, that infinite power we talked about last night that you get to plug into to help provide you the room and space for it. But you got to ask for it. You got to ask God to open my heart so that I can forgive, so that I can be in receipt of what you have for me. Because when we don't forgive, we also block the blessings that he has for us. That's amazingly important. Ty says, forgiving myself is difficult for me. It is, Ty. You know why? Because we hold ourselves to some imaginary high standard. Like we are somehow, above, all of everyone else. So we will be more likely to forgive someone else if they make a little mistake. Like, oh, well, what, she didn't mean to do that. And maybe it wasn't against you, but you're more likely to forgive someone else of something than you are yourself. Because we hold ourselves to this imaginary standard that's not realistic. And we forget that we are human and we make mistakes. But I'm telling you, in order for you to blaze into 2018, in order for you to survive this current season that we're in, you have got to get to a place where we learn how to forgive, not just other people, but you got to forgive yourself too. Now, at the end of the day, we've all agreed that it's not easy, but it's necessary. So how do you forgive people, Dr. Shana? Yeah, I wish there was a simple 1, 2, 3 as far as how we can do that. But it starts first with the awareness that it's necessary. You see, no, the first step in any change process is awareness. You got to be aware of what it is and where you are being stuck. Because the more that you are angry with yourself, for instance, so let's say it's you need to forgive. The more angry you are with yourself, the more stuck you are in your life, and you are incapable of making moves because you are stuck back at a place that already happened. And that's the thing. Forgiveness is about something that happened in the past. Y'all get that? I'm really big about the thought that we need to learn from our past, not live in our past. I'll repeat that. We need to learn from our past, not live in our past. When we live in it, that's when we get stuck. That's when we can't forgive. That's when we can't move forward. That's when all of that occurs and we are no longer in a position to receive the things that are available to us because we are stuck. So here's the question for all of us. If there's something that you struggle with forgiving yourself for, first ask yourself, so what is it that I can learn from this situation? Because here's the thing. I had this conversation today with one of my clients, and we were talking about someone did us wrong, and she felt really, really upset about it. And all that anger showed up. And my thought was, how do you create new meaning from that circumstance? So you can make it mean that I'm mad at you and I'm mad at me and all of that is horrible. Or you can make it mean, you know what? I gained something because of that. I learned something because of that. It can mean something completely different. You get to decide. You get to decide. And when I've learned whatever it is I need to learn from that, and I can release it and I can let that piece go, then guess what? I'm now free to move forward. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Have you ever given that forgiveness and really received the relief that comes from no longer holding on to something that was amazingly hard to hold on to anyway? So when we're holding on to that, that is amazingly big. It is. It's a major blocker of a whole lot of things. I'm encouraging you to consider, what would it look like if you really gave forgiveness? And many times you don't even have to tell the person that you've forgiven that they were forgiven. Because again, it's not for them. It is completely for you. It's not for them. Matter of fact, the fact that they know or don't know, it doesn't even matter. They might not even be alive. We can hold grudges against folks who are not even here no more, y'all. And at the end of the day, it only hurts us. It only leaves you in a space of not being able to move forward in your life, create the life that you want to have. I tell you all the time, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help folks create lives that you can feel excited about. If we're holding on to stuff in this way, if we're holding on to grudges and anger, if we're not able to forgive ourselves and realize that we're human and that we can gain something, learn something from whatever has occurred, take that as a gift and move forward with our life, then we are stuck. We are stuck in this place, this abyss that's uncomfortable. And you can stay there. You could choose that. You could definitely choose that. Or you could choose to release it, let it go. Decide that, you know what, my Father has already forgiven me, so I need to forgive myself too. And it's majorly important that we get in the space to do that. Is it easy? I've already said no, it's not. Is it necessary? Absolutely. Do you guys think it's necessary? Just tell me that. Do you think it's necessary to forgive? If you've ever forgiven someone, did you find some value from that? Just pop in and say, yes, I get it. It is, but it's hard. Yes, I've tried it. And when I did, it had a great outcome. I don't know. Yes, I can see it's necessary. It can free you in a way that you've never experienced before. True forgiveness can free you in a way that you've never experienced before. And again, it's not for the other person, it's always for you, because whatever you're holding on to about them, it becomes your baggage and not theirs. Do you really want to carry that around? I'm encouraging you the next couple of days that we have left in this 12 days of Christmas to really consider, what do I need to forgive? Who do I need to forgive? Maybe it's me. I'm big about writing, journal about it, write it down, whatever it is you need to do. Talk to somebody about it if you need to, but really get in a place of working to forgive. Talk back to me. Is it something that you can see is necessary? Is it necessary? Do you think it's important for life? I've seen so many people over the years that get just stuck in such anger. Mia says it is necessary, but once that hurt reignited itself, you know what? Here's the thing. The hurt, we will hurt. It doesn't mean, it's just like anything that we grieve or we lose. Because we lost it, we grieved and we began to feel better, doesn't mean we no longer ever have a pain associated with that same thing. You understand? So I talked about this a couple of days ago. I may lose someone and I may, heal and grieve, and then the season changes and I feel some grief come back again. It doesn't mean I didn't grieve before. It just means that this new season brought something back to me. And that might happen. But Mia, here's the thing. We still don't want to sit inside of it too long so that it turns toxic and it turns against us. So that when we end up in a position that we can't move forward. And it may show itself because there may be triggers, maybe things that bring it back. Absolutely. And I know that there's some hurts are much deeper than others. And I do not want to minimize anybody's experience, because I know no one can understand your story, your experience, but you. But you. Yes, I understand. Makes perfect sense. Okay. So just being clear that it may show itself again, but we can still walk through it and have forgiven. Doesn't mean the pain goes away. It just means that the anger or the malice is what no longer exists. Doesn't mean I'm not hurt because what you did. You wronged me. And that hurt, it still can hurt me deeply. But I don't have to be mad at you about it forever, and keep myself from being in receipt of what's available to me. I know this talk is probably a little bit heavier than some, but I just think it's necessary. We need to learn from our past, not live in it. We need to learn to forgive, to free ourselves, to be able to be in receipt of all the greatness that God has for us, all the things that are available to us. If we do not, I promise you, we find ourselves stuck in a place that is uncomfortable, that can be absolute, downright miserable much of the time. And you will not move forward in your life because of it. You may not even know how stuck you are. I said this earlier today. You may not even know how stuck you are until you get free. You may not even know how stuck you are until you get free. And until you feel that freedom, you can look back and say, well, I was stuck all that time. I'm encouraging you. Forgiveness is one way to free yourself, perhaps in a way that you had no clue you needed to be freed. So just consider it. That's the thought tonight, y'all. That is the transformation that helps you make it through the next couple of weeks, and also helps you begin a new year free of carrying some baggage from a very long time ago. Remember, forgiveness does not equal co-signing, does not mean excusing, does not mean I saying it's okay. Forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person. So please enjoy the rest of your evening. We will be right back here at 9 o'clock tomorrow for our day number 6. Oh, James says amen. Thank you for joining, James. And so remember, your next transformation is literally only one decision away. Make it a great one, family. You deserve it. Make the first one forgiving yourself or forgiving someone else. Just notice how freeing it really can be. All right. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.